Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome to another edition of the Sanderson Show, where I'm going to be looking at a historical UFC card, UFC 267, the rise of Islam Makhachev. Khamzat shows that he's the real deal. Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen have a Fight of the Year candidate, and the man himself, a fairy tale ending for Glover Teixeira. Sit back, let's chop it up, people. Let's go. So, what a card it was. UFC 267 is in the books, and I think it's only right we start with the first fight on the main card, which was Magomed Ankalaev against VOLKAN OEZDEMIR. Let's go.
It's time!
So, first fight in the night was Ankalaev versus OEZDEMIR. Again, wasn't the greatest of fights. I expected a bit more explosiveness. I expected a bit more from the actual fight. Didn't happen. Quite shocked, really. I thought more would have come from the fight. I thought OEZDEMIR would have tried to push the action a bit more, but he was very content to sort of stay on the back foot. Ankalaev is an absolute sniper, as he showed when he got the knockdown. Opened up a horrible cut over OEZDEMIR's eye as well. But he's on to bigger and better things, it would seem now. And look, he's looking really good. I've got the rankings up on another screen at the moment. So currently now he's moved up to 7th in the rankings behind Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Smith, Rakic, Proskaya, and obviously Jan Blachowicz, who's number 1 because of Teixeira, which we'll speak about later. I'm not going to go into match predictions or what I think they should both do. I'll probably do that on social media, so make sure you check that out as well. But I do think the future is bright for Ankalaev. I know Nick Pete from BT Sport is very high on him. He looks good. However, I do think there's more to come from him, but I think he needs a willing and able dance partner. So I'll be very interested to see what he does next. In regards to OEZDEMIR, it's going to be difficult pairing him up with another top 5, top 6, even top 10 fighter. But he has still got dangerous power in his hands, and he's still a top quality fighter. It just hasn't hit the heights that many probably thought he'd hit. Hasn't quite been the same since the Daniel Cormier loss. But look, he's in an absolute shark tank of a division, and I expect him to continue fighting for now. But Ankalaev is the main man at the moment. Can't wait to see what he does next. Let's look at the second fight on the main card.
It's time!
Well. The hype is very real. Now, let me say that again. The hype is very real. Wow. Khamzat Chimaev. Absolute destruction. The only thing that was talked about more on this card was probably the appearance and subsequent appearances of Hasbullah. Khamzat absolutely rolled through Li Lingjian. Like, goodness me. Wow. I'm lost for words. He literally picked him up on one side, didn't absorb any strikes, walked over to Dana White, slammed him down while he was talking to Dana White, proceeded to punch him in the face repeatedly, took his back, flattened him out, and then choked him unconscious. And again, Lee is an absolute stud. He would not give up. He would not quit. He knew he was going to sleep, and he said, look, I'm just going to take this L and move on. But Chimaev is something special. I'll be honest, going into this fight, I was thinking to myself, is the hype real? I mean, obviously, his previous 3 fights, he looked absolutely brilliant. But again, the opposition weren't as high as Lee. He came in here and he made Lee look basic. And this is a Lee coming off a 5-fight win streak, a knockout against Ponzinibbio, who, again, is one of the better fighters at welterweight. Khamzat looks like an absolute killer in this division. And you look at some of the matchups and some of the fights he could be fighting. Oh, it could be absolutely amazing. I mean, the welterweight division is already on fire. I mean, you've got Masvidal, Edwards, you've got Usman and Covington too. Adding him to the mix, oof, I like it. I like it. I really, really like it. It's going to be very interesting to see who he's paired with next, how long he wants to take before he turns around and fights again. You don't assume it'll be very long. He didn't take any damage in this fight. Khamzat Chimaev, he's the truth. He really is the truth. It's time! So Volkov versus TYBURA. Again, bit of a letdown this fight. Some very good technical striking at some aspects. Volkov was really good in terms of his lead knee and sort of the body kick, the teep to the body, keeping him at range. But he kind of reminds me a little bit of what Struve was. Like, you look at Struve and you think, right, no one should be able to get in close and fight close up with Stefan Struve on the feet. But people are able to close that distance really quickly on Volkov. And it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you've got so much length, you've got so much range, you've got a great teep kick, you've got a good jab when you use it. Why not just implement it more? Again, TYBURA is tough as nails. He was always going to come forward and make it a difficult fight, but I think VOLKAN could have made it a lot easier. So Volkov could have made it a lot easier than he did, and he didn't. And again, it's not a performance where you say, right, throw him in there with another top 5 candidate, because I don't know if you can. It'll be interesting to see what the UFC does with both of these fighters, because neither of them really came away from this event and had many people talking, as opposed to like your Chimaev, for example. But I mean, they will obviously continue fighting. I'd like to see Volkov use his natural gifts and attributes a bit more, rather than just getting into these slugfests when he doesn't need to. We saw him do it against Overeem, and he looked sensational. But then he kind of reverted back to type. So it's difficult. It's difficult. But look, decent heavyweight fight. Not the worst fight you'll watch, but also not the greatest. It is what it is. It happens sometimes. It's time! Now on to another headline stealer, as it were. Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. Look, I love Dan Hooker. One of my favorite fighters, one of my favorite personalities in MMA. And going into this fight, I said, you know what, he's got an uphill battle, but it'd be nice to see him test him on the feet. Israel Adesanya always talks about Dan Hooker's grappling and says how he's really offensive in his grappling and also got good defending. But when you come up against Khabib .2, aka Islam Makhachev, everyone looks basic. Everyone looks basic, and he made Hooker look basic. The moment he took side control after he got him down, you could see he was going for the arm. Dan Hooker knew he was going for the arm. Everyone knew he was going for the arm. Couldn't stop it, though. Could not stop it. Like, wow. I've got a shout out to a couple people. Daniel Khan, let's go. Thank you very much. Atib says, Cal, you better get onto Matt and Drift if they've not seen it. I've spoken to Drift. Drift's seen it. I need to go onto Matt, and I will do that. Shout out to yourself as always, John Conway. Hi, Callum. Big up to yourself, guys. Much appreciated for joining this stream. Yeah, I mean, Makhachev was something special. Southpaw, looked very comfortable on the feet. Didn't look in any way, shape, or form in any danger, but at the moment it went to the ground. And again, him having Khabib in the corner is like a cheat code. Because at first he wasn't getting the right angle on the Kimura. The moment Khabib said, step over, and again, I've done jiu-jitsu. I know what it's like to be in both positions. If someone gets you in a Kimura position and they don't step over, it's a lot easier for you to get out. The moment they step over and they start wrenching, I kid you not, it's one of the most horrible situations to be in. But when you're in that position as well, you have so much more control, and you don't even really need to crank before you can rip someone's shoulder out of place or break an arm. And Makhachev looked excellent. He looked as though a man who starts to believe in everything that everyone else has said about him. He now looks like he believes and says, yeah, I belong here. Again, not going to go into what he could potentially do for next matchup, but it's got to be either a title fight or someone else in that top 5. It's got to be. You can't be looking backwards anymore. No one really took him up on the offer to fight him. Shout out to Dan Hooker for having the cojones to get in there and fight him. He didn't have to. Hooker stepped in and saved the card for Makhachev. So shout out to Hooker for that. Again, where does Hooker go next? I think Hooker's one of those fighters that even if he loses, he's still safe because he's a fun fighter. You can stick him in there with any striker and you know you're going to have fun. Yeah, I mean, people have even shouted out Conor McGregor. I don't think Conor McGregor takes the fight. But hey, that would be a fun fight, wouldn't it? Tope says Islam and Khamzat are scary. Dagestan is different. Facts upon facts there. And Atib says Khamzat has taken 1 strike in 4 fights. That's mad. He's taken 1 strike compared to dishing out over, I think, 112 strikes against his opponents. Ridiculous. And then to think against Gerald, he only maybe hit him once or twice. So he's really amassed those amount of strikes against 3 people because he knocked Gerald Mershaft out with 1 punch. And then the others he just beat up. It's crazy what he's doing. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, now back to Islam. He's got to get top 5 or a title shot. And with Khabib behind him, anything is possible. It's time! On to the fight of the night. CORY Sandhagen versus Petr Yan. Wow. What a fight between 2 of the 4 best bantamweights in the world. And yes, I am putting TJ in that category, even though he did what he did. And I'm also putting Aljo in that as well because he is the champion. Yes, we know how he got the championship. We know how he's acted after getting the championship. But he is officially still the champion. And even if you're not saying he's number 1, he's definitely top 4 in that division. This fight was sensational. And I'll be honest with you, I was starting to feel as though Petr Yan was hyped. I was thinking, right, he's beaten Jose Aldo, who's past it, in my opinion. Before that, he hadn't really beaten anyone in the top 5. Aldo still wasn't in the top 5 when he fought him. Fought Aljamain Sterling. He lost the first round. In my opinion, lost the second round. Won the third, was winning the fourth, and then did the illegal knee strike. So again, I know the tide was turning that fight, and I think he would have gone on to win, but it wasn't the destruction that some people make out. Sandhagen had beaten Edgar. He had just fought TJ. Didn't get the decision, but I thought he won that fight. Obviously, he lost to Aljo, but had been in there with Aljo. In my opinion, CORY had faced a tougher opposition up until this point. But Yan is a machine. He's like a bantamweight Terminator. Sandhagen was piecing him up in the first round or 2. But after that, it was just like poetry. And I'll be honest, from a technical aspect, that is one of the best fights I've ever watched. Their striking, counter-punching and counter-kicking, their footwork, their movement, it was a joy to behold. It really was a joy to behold, and really, really enjoyed watching the fight. But it throws up a lot of questions. How do you beat Petr Yan? Because Aljo did it, and Sandhagen have both done it. They've come out the blocks firing fast, won the first couple of rounds. But then they ultimately slow down and he takes over in the fight. Not because they're not cardio machines, but because Petr Yan just keeps on coming forward. How do you deter him? He has to be in there with someone who he respects their power. And dare I say it, he doesn't respect anyone in the division's power. And you can't really blame him because he probably hits harder than everyone else and he can take a hell of a punch. Like Sandhagen caught him with some great techniques and he just took it and kept on walking forward. He got the knockdown on Sandhagen, caught him with some great spinning back kicks, both to the body and to the head, and he just wore him down. And I mean, Rob Font springs to mind as a person who may be able to get him to respect his power. Rob Font hits really hard. He's brilliantly technical when it comes to his stand-up. But so is Jan. And he proved as well he's not easy to take down. He's not easy to keep down either. I'm now a believer. I wasn't before. I now am a believer. I'm on a train. I'm on a Jan train. And I got to say in public, I'm sorry for doubting the man. He's absolutely fantastic. But let's not take anything away from Sandhagen. An absolute warrior. And can't wait to see him fight again, whoever it's against. Looking forward to seeing these two fight. And you know what? I think they'll fight again down the line. Just got a feeling. It's time! And now to the fairy tale. But before I get onto this, make sure you smash the like button, people. And also, I did an interview recently with the lead writer from Give Me Sports at WWE, Louis Dangoor. Make sure to check out the video. Here's a little snippet from it now. The main task of this interview, I really wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted us to build an 8-match pay-per-view with wrestlers from the past, present, and just sort of get your feel for it. Now, this is completely how you want to do it. Any stipulation you want to use is fine. If you want to do it like WrestleMania 2000, where every single match is a triple threat or a fatal four, that's up to you. The only requirement is at least 2 championships are defended on this pay-per-view. Yeah? All right. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, what is your opener to this pay-per-view? Ooh. And by the way, we're calling the pay-per-view the Dangoor Danger Zone. That's what we're calling it.
Oh, I like that. Someone actually said to me, they were like, if you like have your own podcast, it should be called the Danger Zone. I'm like, it really should. That's a good idea.
Go for it.
But wow, what would my opener be? I'd like to, so it can be across any promotion, past or present.
Any promotion, any era, however you want to do it.
Okay. I'm going to start off with a match I've always wanted to see. And we're going to start off big. So we're going to go.
So shout out to Louis Dangoor for any wrestling fans or anyone who's just interested in watching a nice, fun podcast. And make sure you check that video out as well. A couple of comments. Shout out to Fahim. Khamzat is different. Yes, he is. Also says hit the likes. Please do hit the likes, please, guys. It really help push the channel. Danielle says, how do you think Usman and Khamzat goes? I don't know, but tell you what, I really want to see that fight. But let's speak about the man of the hour, the oldest first-time UFC champion. He did it at the age of 42, his birthday week. Glover Teixeira got the job done against Jan Blachowicz. Wow. I mean, Cormier and Glover embracing in Octagon after that happened. If you didn't get choked up, you're not a real fight fan, man. Glover's been grinding. And look, I'll be honest, after him losing against John Jones and the way he got dispatched against Anthony Rumble Johnson, I thought, right, that's it. No way coming back of that. And he just kept on plodding away, kept on going and going and going. And now look at him, champion of the world. And look, no one's going to sit here and say he's the greatest champion of all time or he's the greatest light heavyweight of all time. He's not. He'll be the first to tell you that. But this is a story of persistence, courage, and a will to win. And Glover Teixeira deserves all the plaudits he's getting right now. What an amazing performance. I'm so happy for him. So happy. He did brilliant in the fight. And again, I was a little bit disappointed in Jan. He didn't seem himself, but I think it's because Glover. I think it's Glover. I mean, he came out there and he cut the angles off. He closed distance very early and he secured a takedown very early. Like Jan couldn't stop the takedown. And then when he cracked him with the left hook and had Jan wobbling, and then he took him down again, it's like, wow. And then when he sunk in the rear naked, it's like, blimey. Shout out to the man. Shout out to Glover. I'm so happy for him. And look, we know he's going to be fighting Yuri next, and that's going to be a great fight. But you know what? I'm just happy for now that he got that title win. Because again, remember, before this fight, it was Izzy versus Jan. And everyone said Glover should have got a shot then. And I agree, Glover should have. But again, if Izzy wins that fight, I don't think Glover gets the next title shot. I think Izzy potentially gets John Jones down from heavyweight. I think there's unfinished business there, and Izzy could do another fight at middleweight and then go back up 205. So Glover would have been continuing to wait. He got his opportunity and he took it with both hands. Over the moon for him. What's next for Jan, though? It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from it. He looked really dejected in the cage, as you would be, but he looked particularly dejected and he looked like he really took that defeat really bad. And obviously, he's no spring chicken himself. He's a lot younger than Glover, but he's not a spring chicken either. And as I said earlier, the light heavyweight division is just a shark tank. Might not have the prestige and the big names like it did before, but these guys can fight. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Jan. I'm going to get through a couple of comments before we wrap up. So Fahim says the camera is wavy. Thank you, man. He also says the beard is coming. Yeah, I mean, slowly but surely. Shout out to Luke Tanner as well. Absolute legend of a man. Love your content as well, Luke. Leon and George are praying each other don't get injured before the fight, just in case Khamzat steps in. Facts. But I'll be honest, I don't see either of them taking that fight at short notice. I think it'd be crazy. I know Leon did it before. I think after watching that, though, you don't take a short turnaround fight against Khamzat. Me personally. But then again, I'm not a UFC fighter and I got cojones like that. But I'll be honest, you can give me 3 years to prepare for Khamzat and I'm still not fighting him. So that's just me. Franklin says, big up, Cal. UFC was lit and another banger this weekend, my lord. Indeed. Also says, does Glover successfully defend his belt or does Yuri take it? I hate to say, I think Yuri does it. I do think Yuri does it. But obviously, we'll chop that up closer. Fahim says, Cal, do you know about D Block Europe? They're a group of artists, mate. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know D Block Europe. I don't know them personally. I know who they are, though, but I don't know them personally. But yes, people, I'm going to try. Again, I use the word try because obviously I've got 2 young little ones and the time that UFC comes on sometimes, especially the one coming up. I'm going to try and do a watch along for UFC 268 because I do want to start doing watch alongs. I want to start doing some more MMA content. I want to start getting this channel going properly. So do look out for that as well, people. Also, follow on social media. So obviously you can follow me at Callum Sanderson. You can also follow me by clicking, sorry, not that one, on the Sanderson Show. So you can just find the Sanderson Show or Sanderson Show on all platforms. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So make sure you check those out as well, please, people. And look, UFC 267 in the books. Dan01, yeah, I'm going to try and do a watch along for 268. I am going to try. Please, guys, do spread the word. Please talk about this channel to your friends, your family, anyone who's interested in MMA. Plus, as you see, I also do podcasts and interviews with other personalities and celebs, etc. So make sure you tune in, people. And again, look, really humbled that you guys would decide to join me this afternoon. Until next time, people, thank you so much for watching. Let's do this. Take care, people.